This is Harry Judd for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm here with former Olympian and now boxer and Sky Sports star Caroline Dubois. I know you've had a hectic media day today, but thanks for letting me, fit me in.
Thank you. No worries. I mean, this is all part of the process, and like with you guys helping us, getting us out there and giving us the publicity is important that we, help each other. So yeah, thank you.
Is it getting more familiar to you, being more in the public eye?
I would say maybe I'm getting more used to it, like when these interviews happen and fight week and the buzz and the interviews that need to be done and all the press and everything. I've definitely accepted it more and just known that this is just a part of the process. It's just as important as the fighting. This is the entertaining business and we want to like get our names and our faces out there. So this is just one of the ways we do this.
Your pro debut couldn't have really gone any better. I don't think many people realised just how calm you were in your pro debut.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that because, to be honest with me, I watched the fight back and I wasn't too happy with the performance at all. We've been working on so many things in the gym, and of course I won and I boxed well. I don't think I didn't lose a round. I didn't think I lost a second. It's just, I wasn't really putting together what I was working on in the gym. That's what frustrated me a little bit. I was still boxing like an amateur, just in and out, bam, bam, bam. And I wanted to sit down on my punches a bit more and take my time and enjoy it. And I rushed it too much. And that's why in the second fight, I just slowed everything down. I remember telling myself before I got out of the ring, just relax as much as possible. And just like nothing bad is going to happen. Just go out there and relax and just work on what you've been working on.
You mixed it great with your head and your body, especially in the last fight. It paid dividends against Martina Horgaz.
Yeah.
How much is your amateur career, working with reps and boxing as a young amateur, and obviously now with GB, or well, it used to be with GB, how much did that help you in your professional career?
I think all the clubs that I've been to as an amateur, Repton, Dale Youth, like I've been to so many clubs and it's been a blessing really because every club kind of has their own style. And I would say, being with GB, being with England, it's helped so much because I've got that, what's that called? That polished style about me.
Yeah.
You see so many female fighters and some of them are really good. And then some of them, they still got that raggedy bit where you can tell they haven't had a lot of fights, amateur fights and a lot of experience. But I've had that. And now I'm just gaining that professional experience, which is good.
Talk to me about turning professional because you were on the GB pathway for a long time. You went to Tokyo 2020 at such a young age. You narrowly missed out on a medal. You were pretty comfortable at GB. So what was the incentive for going pro? You could have probably waited on GB a few more years, perhaps gone to Paris and tried again at the Olympics. So what was the incentive for you going pro now?
To be honest, all before the Olympics, I was thinking, okay, this is my plan. I want to go to the Olympics, get a medal, hopefully, preferably gold, and then go pro. In my mind and in my head, every time I was training, every time I was running, I was dreaming about going to the Olympics and getting a gold medal and turning pro, getting a gold medal and turning pro. And obviously, God has a different plan for you. You say one thing and he says, nah, he says another. So when I went to the Olympics and I lost, it was the most devastating moment of my life. I remember getting on the phone and I was just like, oh my God, I was crying. I was like, I don't know what to do. I was just devastated. I was like, I need to right this wrong. I want to go again. And then I was talking and all that stuff. And then at the time I was like, just relax and see what happens when we get home. We got home and we got so many offers thrown at me. I remember like Sky came to me and the thing was after the Olympics, I just felt, I wasn't ready, I needed to learn more. I needed to grow more. And I know as a pro, sometimes you have these fights where you have journey women and you're not learning so much, and then you get thrown in with good level women. And because the pool in boxing isn't so deep, I was scared that would be what would happen. So I wanted to do all my learning as an amateur and then go pro and be like fully a complete package. But then when I came home and Sky came to me with the offer and they were so excited about me, they didn't seem like they were doubting me at all. They believed in me 100%, 110%, and they were just like so excited. I think it was their excitement that leaked onto me and said, okay, if they believe in me, I believe in me, I'm gonna do this. And I just went with it. They offered me an amazing deal. and they just had so much belief and so much excitement that I was like, I was ready, and I just turned over, and Shane was like, "You're gonna do your learning in the gym. That's where the learning is done, in the gym. You're sparring, your pads, and your work, and you're gonna learn every day." And to be honest, I've learned so much since going pro. Like my style, learn how to sit on my punch, even just throwing simple things like my straight right hand. Like it's improved so much since from being a pro. So I'm grateful that I've made this decision.
You've certainly come up the hard way. Talk to me about entering the gym for the first time. Am I right in saying you had to pretend to have a boy's name?
Oh yeah, it was obviously back in the day. Many amateur boxing clubs didn't have female fighters. Even like Repton and West Ham, they were literally on the door say West Ham Amateur Boys Boxing Club, Repton Amateur Boys Boxing Club. Obviously, that's changed now. It's just Amateur Boxing Club. But back in the day, it was just it was literally just a boys boxing club, and they wouldn't allow you, and they wouldn't allow anything. And when I said I wanted to go start boxing, my dad was like, "Okay, if you want to box, we're gonna throw you in the deep end and see how good you are." I don't know if he believed me. I don't know if he thought like, "Okay, let's see if you can box." And so he was like, "Throw me in with the hardest boxing club in London. Everybody knows that, Repton, and their Saturday class is just ruthless. It's just ruthless. Go there on a Saturday and you'll see exactly what I mean." So I got thrown in, and the first spar I ever did, I made a boy cry, and it just went from there. So it was just like the make or break to see how good and how tough I was. So yeah,
What was the name that you chose to use?
it was Colin. Yeah.
Why Colin?
I don't
Did your
know.
dad
I
pick
remember.
it?
No, I picked it. It was crazy. It was like all the day before, like on the way up there, my dad was like, "Oh, you're going to a boys' boxing club. They're not gonna let you in." And I was like, I didn't know if he was joking at all. I literally did not know if he was being serious. And my dad was like, "Okay, when you go there, you have to say your name is a boy's name and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, whatever, whatever." We go to the club, and I just noticed that I'm looking around. There's no women, there's no females, there's no girls. It's a very serious attitude and everything like that. So I was like, maybe he's telling the truth. I remember a coach came up to me and he was like, "What's your name?" At first, I said Caroline, but he said it so quietly he didn't even hear what I said. And then he was like, "What? Say that again." And I was like, Colin." And he was like, "All right then," and that was it.
The link up with Shane is obviously very, very important, a very experienced trainer. Just tell me a few of the things you've been working on in the gym.
Um, the moment we started training with him, we just been working on sitting down on my punches, um, really like going through with them, and working a lot on my backhand, working on a lot on pacing the rounds, because as an amateur you're doing 3 rounds, as a pro you're doing more, and you got to pace it because it's a 2 minute round, so you got to know it's got to be a high pace, but you got to be able to go through the rounds. You're doing 8, 10 rounds, and you got to be ready for it. So that was the hardest challenge for me, going from 3 minute rounds to 2 minutes, and then going from 3 rounds to like sparring 10 rounds and 8 rounds, stuff like that.
Who have you been sparring with at the gym?
Um, I've done some rounds with Hannah Rankin. She's been helpful in coming down and help me out. I've been sparring with another girl called Amber Burt. She's really good. She's boxes at 75 kilos. And mainly I've been sparring with boys. They're the hardest work and they're the toughest. And unfortunately in London, it's very hard to get female sparring. And there's so many boys out there, you have to mix it with them. And they just bring you on, really.
You're boxing in Bournemouth for your third fight in a few weeks' time with
Yeah.
one of your old stablemates, Chris. Would this be a
Mm.
6th round, or are you moving up to 8? Or if not, when do you think that will be?
I am doing a 6 round, and I think for my next one it will be a 6 round. The one after that, I'm sure it's a 8 round.
And also after that, it's only a few weeks' time. You're on the Carissa Shields and Savannah Marshall fight. How big is that fight for women's boxing, and how big is it for your profile?
It's massive. It's so big. It's as big as the Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. We saw how that went down. Um, I would say it's amazing that I'm on the card, for my profile, because it's going to be a big fight. There's going to be loads of attention. Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall, that there's no love lost between them. They're going to be a lot of like back and forth, and because of that back and forth, it's just going to build the fight. More people are going to be interested. More people are going to turn up. More people are going to want to see what this card's all about, because obviously this is going to be a first time all female card, and people are going to want to see what's about. You know, how good is it, and what's it going to be. So I'm just blessed to be on that opportunity and that on that platform, and I want to go out there and shine.
Everyone talks about grudge matches within boxing. How genuine is this one?
Oh, I think it's 100%, 100%. There's definitely that rivalry and that bitterness because of Clarissa Shields went on to be a two-time Olympic gold medalist. But at the same time, Savannah Marshall did beat Clarissa Shields, and the only the only spoil and the only mess up on her record so far today is Savannah Marshall. And every time she's going to look at her boxing record, there's going to be one L and it's Savannah Marshall's name on it. And that's going to be, something that she's going to want to write. And Savannah Marshall is going to be thinking, I beat this girl. And she went on to win 2 Olympic gold medals. I should have been the girl to win 2 Olympic gold medals. So there's going to be that. And yes, it's kicking off already, so I'm excited.
Talk me through the first time you met Clarissa. I know she's a massive fan of yours. When you first met her, what did she exactly say to you?
It was funny because all this time before, like, we even ever spoke, I was obviously bigging her up on every time I did an interview. People would ask me who's my favorite fighter, who's my favorite female fighter, and I'd always say Clarissa Shields because her story and where she was coming from, and the fact she was one of the first females to ever go to the Olympics, and it just really inspired me and really motivated me. She was unbeaten, she was winning everything, and I was winning everything as a youth and a junior, and I was feeling a little bit weird about it, and I seen somebody else do it. I was like, wow, I want to be like her. And then I'm DM come through and I'm looking at it, and because Shields, I was so like, oh my god, did she just message me? I was literally, it must have been like 10 o'clock at night, and I was just lying down scrolling through my Instagram, and then bing, Clarissa Shields messaged me, and I was like, wow. And then we just talked a little bit, and the first time I ever met her was in Cardiff, and she was really nice, really approachable. She was so humble and just so chilled out, and she was fighting and everything, and she was making weight, but she was so happy to talk to everybody, and she's just a nice person, genuine.
If I had to push you for a prediction, first, do you think it goes the distance?
Yeah, I think so.
And who comes out victorious in that one?
I think if it goes the distance, it will be very hard for Clarissa Shields to get a decision, especially in England. I hope there's nothing that happens, and I don't want this fight to get spoiled. But I think it'll be hard. But I think Clarissa Shields can do it. I think she's got the speed, the aggression, and I think the most important thing for this fight will be determination. And I think she's a very determined person. If she gets hurt, if she gets anything happens, she's gonna push through. She's got a lot of pride in her, and she's calling herself the GOAT. She's calling herself the greatest. That pressure is gonna be on her shoulders. She ain't gonna be able to give up. Even if she gets hurt, even if she's tired, she's gonna push through. And I think that determination and her mental strength is gonna be key in this fight. I think she'll win.
I can't have you here without speaking about your brother Daniel. A good win last time out to claim the WBA regular title out there in the States against Trevor Bryant. You went out there. What did you think?
It was really cool. Never been to Miami before, and it was nice. Even the whole fight week and everything, with Trevor being around and talking like all the like crap and all that stuff. He was like, it was a new experience because I've never experienced anything like that, and it was good for Daniel to go out there and win, obviously. And it was a really good fight. It was a really good atmosphere, and I was just happy to be a part of it.
Hoping that he's going to be back out in late September, early October. There's so many potential fights coming out, but what have you heard?
So far I've just heard that, they're obviously looking at new names, and a few names have been getting thrown around. And I've heard DILLIAN WHYTE as being one of the main ones, someone that Daniel wants, someone that, Shane wants, someone that like our team wants on Daniel's side. And I know Daniel's more than ready for it, and he believes in himself, and Obviously, DILLIAN WHYTE is a great fighter, and he's fought against so many great champions. He's a good test. You know, he's been there, he's done it, he's tested himself, and he's not someone that quits. So it'll be a very, very tough fight, and I think that's the one that they're going for next.
He's in prime spot for the winner of Usyk and Joshua. Depending on whether this unification happens with Tyson Fury, we've heard all sorts coming out on the socials with all of those sort of people.
Yeah.
Do you want to see Daniel in one of those fights so early on?
To be honest, I hate watching my brother fight, period. It could be against anyone, I just hate it. So for me personally, it's scary when I think about, when I think of, heavyweight champions and who's the best now. I think of Anthony Joshua. I think of Usyk. I think of, obviously my brother's up there, but he hasn't, tested himself. But he's got so much belief in himself, and everyone around him has got so much belief in him. I think is now is the prime time. He's 24. He believes in himself, and that's the important thing. He's training really, really hard, and I want to see him go out there and just test himself every time and come through these challenges. He's not afraid. He never shies away. So I'm just proud of him as someone that never shies away and never, takes the easy route. And he's always there jumping in, and every time he does that, he makes me feel proud, and I would love to see him get in there against these top dogs in the division and win, because I know that's what he can do.